Hi, it's the 26th of October 2018 at 4 p.m. Today's background is of that Antifa rally where the guy harasses the woman at the traffic lights. I wanted to use this to illustrate a few points that I have. I've got another video as well, a longer one of the Portland Antifa marches as well, or rallies or whatever you call them. Here they go, here he is. This guy really should have his own Mgtow channel. Even if it was just for a joke. I mean, I don't agree with anything that he's doing, but I find it rather amusing. The first time I saw it, I was a bit taken aback, but I've watched it several times. And I think, look at the way the woman is handling him. I want you to take note of that. See how it's not bothering her, not phasing her in the slightest. Okay, so that to me sort of illustrates that she knows his band, or she knows what he's on about. And you'll see the other guys here are really getting wound up. They're really getting triggered. Okay, look at it. They're really getting upset by it, and he's having a good time doing it. Okay. Now you'll also see what will happen in a moment is that he gets assaulted by or fronted, and he'll run away. Which of you all saying, yeah, he's a coward and that sort of thing. I just want you to remember that, because I'm going to talk about a comment that QP made a few hours ago on the channel, and I think it's relevant. I think it's all relevant, and you'll understand that something's at work here. We're blaming women. We're pointing everything at women. Women are bad and what have you. And look, I'm not disputing you, but these are men who are seemingly achieving exactly what women can do, to the point of just infuriating guys and triggering them. You're just going to see scene after scene of exactly the same process at work here. They are just winding particular men, conservative men in this case, up. Okay, they're just getting right in their face, doing everything they can to trigger some sort of emotional response. And they're getting away with it. They're getting it every time. Just as women do, actually, with you guys. They just do it time and time again. And then in the end, they'll run away and hide in a way that won't allow you a chance to remove your stress, get rid of your stress. As I said, I'll talk more about this later, because I'm starting to see this in really quite different lights. Because I ask myself, what on earth is driving all of this? Is it the left, just simply the left? Pushing for socialism, or are they upset that Donald Trump won, or it seems they're talking about Trump, 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 Trump all the time, and racist, racist, racist. And I can't help feeling that the big noticeable thing about his election was he was talking about it, he'll build a wall. And I can't help feeling that, that's just what they picked up on, the fact that he built a wall, so therefore he's a racist. And I really think had he sort of promoted, no, we're going to get cheaper meat in the US, the voters deserve cheaper meat. He would be, we'd have this vegetarian boom, veggies versus the meaties, and it'd be the same thing. And a vegan versus whatever, the carnivores. It could be that. It could be just this political, or the whole of society is being politicised. And that could be happening to us via, to us personally. Most of us are conservative males on this channel. And here we go, they're into it again. To my mind, this is like watching, this is like watching, a couple, going for a hammer and tong, all afternoon on a Saturday afternoon, and it's sitting there having a couple of quiet drinks, just watching the brawl next door. None of it makes any sense if you listen to what they're saying, and often they'll just yell at one another for hours. I mean, what is really the difference between that and an argument between a man and a woman? Seems much the same to me. It makes no sense. I've had thousands of arguments. I don't understand any of it. And I don't think I was ever meant to. And this is where I think I got it wrong. I was trying to make sense out of logic and that sort of thing. But no, it's not that. It could be, for the second reason that I've got here, that it could be what could be driving it. It could be mouse utopia. Yeah, it looks like it, doesn't it? I mean, if you can imagine what happened with Dr. Mulhoon, was it? You know, where he'd watch all the, you know, the mice, they'd be happy, you know, running around getting their food, you know, mating, you know, maybe, I don't know, preening themselves, you know, I don't know, playing with the kids, doing whatever. And he would have watched that for months, maybe even years. And then eventually he saw them gathering together and they were losing interest in one another. And take a look at this. Does it look like there's a man interested in women? Or does it just look like men interested in fighting one another? I mean, isn't this essentially the same thing? You know, mice gathering in a public square, you know, let's have a fight. That's how it appears to me. So it could well be mouse utopia, or a form of it. And I don't doubt that for a moment. I'm not saying that is the reason, but it's a possible reason, to my mind anyway. It just looks that way. It just looks like I can easily imagine all these guys as mice or rats or whatever you like. You know, either side of the street, or, you know, hurling abuse at one another, wanting a fight. You know, let's fight one another. Which, you know, would have happened in Dr. Mulhoon's experiment. But I think there's probably another thing that actually came via way of a comment from QP this morning on the channel. He's talking about, I'm going to have to read some of this. I'll paraphrase some of it, but I'll have to read some of it. I think he had some interesting observations on it, and it seems to fit with what's happening. And he was talking about reevaluation counselling, which is an organisation. Apparently, it was based in Seattle. Okay, and the idea of it is they help people recover from trauma, childhood trauma. And this would have been triggered. Yeah, look, his comment would have been triggered by me talking about narcissism and how it's created by childhood trauma. Not only in your childhood, but it could be your mother's or your father's childhood, or your grandmother's or your grandfather's childhood, and just pass from one to the next. Anyway, QP was explaining that what they attempt to do is help you recover from this by facilitating discharge. And that means they get you to cry or shake, sweat, yawn, laugh, whatever it does, and that's it relieves the chronic stress, the stress build-up of childhood trauma. Sounds a lot like my wife, actually, who she didn't have the trauma, her mother did, but when I see the word stress, yep, it really reminds me of my wife. And she would see it as me being negative. I'm just trying to be helpful, even still, after everything she's done to me. And apparently it happens by someone has to play out the role of a counsellor, and they're affirming the client's victim narrative. Okay, so, and they also try and get the client to focus on the feelings that arise, any sort of feeling, you know, that what they might be able to dig up that can help them get a full discharge. Okay, so the whole idea is it's done, supposedly, in, you know, a well-meaning, you know, great idea, great thing to do. But he goes on to say that from his own experience of the method, and the fact that the founder was a follower of Marxist-Leninist political ideology, he feels it may have a significant hand in promoting the unstable behaviour. I'm reading much of what we're seeing today in people who identify themselves as oppressed. You know, the people here as a classic example. He's saying that when the reevaluation counselling method process is completed in a session, the person feels a deep sense of emotional well-being and confidence. And this makes them really, really attractive to, you know, for people looking for someone to follow. Okay, so they've got this you know, they've got their shit together, okay. So people who don't have their shit together look to the people who've got their shit together and think, oh, we'll follow that person. And it goes on to say that problems arise when these people they use the insight that they've gained into their own emotional triggers to stimulate and arouse stress within other people. So in other words, they wind others up, okay? But they don't offer them a chance to discharge that stress. So they wind them up without offering them a chance to discharge the stress. Now, if you have a look at these videos, the more effective ones, this seems to be playing out with these people, the Antifa, and the more effective ones are the younger. Children are the best, because you know there's not many adults that are going to hit a kid, okay? You know, like a teenager. I've seen many things, you know, where a teenager will come right up to the veteran, for example, and stare him down. He will trigger the kid will trigger the veteran in any number of ways, but because he's a kid, he's not giving him a chance, giving the veteran a chance to discharge the stress. So he's winding him up, and with no chance to discharge, which it happens so often. So whether or not this is brought about by this organisation, or whether it's something that's widespread, because you know I'm not saying that. How can I put this? It's the same process that QP is talking about. Whether or not this organisation is responsible for it is irrelevant, if you ask me. But the whole point, and thanks to QP for bringing, I think it's a good comment, a really interesting place to go with this. But he goes on to say that these people are easily manipulated into acting out whatever it is they want to do. Okay, and it could be a deliberate misuse of power, as he said, that's his thing, or he goes, I'll read what he says, one of the misunderstandings that arise from thinking within the Marxist paradigm of oppressor and oppressed, which is to say that people who identify as a victim of a certain group cannot fathom themselves as an oppressor of a member of that group. So he's saying this shows itself in the extreme, obscene lack of empathy from feminists toward men. So I guess what he's saying to me is that they see themselves as being oppressed. They can't, it's not possible for them to see themselves as the oppressor. So we as men could be suffering under feminism. But feminists are just obsessed with the idea that they are oppressed and are treated like garbage. They can't see that they've actually crossed a line some time ago, a long time ago, and they've actually turned now into oppressors of men. You know, to the extent that they just shake their head in sheer disbelief that, you know, men are asking for equal rights because they are the oppressed. So, as I said, whether or not it comes from this organisation or whether it's just something that happens in the world that we can't control, I'd call it narcissism. But, you know, and when I say that, it could be any number of actual mental disorders, but I just call it narcissism. I just lump it all together and call, you know, people with it narcs. That's not meant to be disparaging at all. They're just narcs. Like, you know, most of these people here are narcs. And frankly, you know, a lot of the guys that they're probably up against are narcs as well. I don't know, but what's happening is, you know, this triggering, this. I mean, look at this. It's just an all afternoon brawl. You know, just like so many married couples. Really, there's no difference at all. And it gets down. I think QP has got a very valid point that one party feels like the oppressed party and can't see that they've actually become the oppressor. because they're still linked in their mind, it's still in their head that they are being oppressed. Even when we leave, even when we go Mgtow and say, okay, we're out of there, we've no interest in you, what? No, just, we would still be oppressing them in some way. They can't, for whatever reason, they can't seem to get it in mind that that's just no longer the case. And you sort of reach a psychosis where you can no longer tell the difference between right and wrong, or the truth and lies. I mean, when I told my neighbours about these particular videos, they actually said, no, you're making it up. Yeah, it's not happening. You're making it up. I mean, what can I say? So it's whatever's in their mind, and it's getting worse. It can no longer differentiate between right, wrong, good, bad, truth, lies, anything. It's all, it's just that's the psychosis. So to that end, I would say, psychosis. We're going mad as a whole race of people, which would lead itself to, the mouse utopia experiment, where the rats went mad, lost interest in one another, and started killing one another. I mean, that could well be the case. But, I think there are all sorts of competing things here. As I said to QP, look, my knowledge is really, I exhausted it months ago about this whole subject. But I like to keep going, with the channel on a positive note. And I don't want to just sit here and slag women, okay? I don't think it's helpful. I don't think it's constructive at all. I don't think you learn anything from it. I don't think it advances the plot in any sort of developmental way at all. So, I rely on you guys to feed information to me. That's interesting. I found out, it's just this, that, and something else. You just keep. So it's actually your channel. I'm picking out things that I think are appropriate to the moment. I mean, I can't do all comments, but if I see one that I think, oh, gee, that's interesting, I can see that at work, and then I can throw that back at you. So it's not really me here. I'm sort of like a newsreader for you guys. It's a strange channel, Plus the putting the backgrounds up and everything. But I hope you stick with me. I'm enjoying doing it. It's not easy. I don't really want to end up in some re-education camp, if you can follow my drift. But I also want to stay on topic. And I've got to, it's walking a tightrope between the two. So any comments like QP is really fantastic. Just keep coming at them, because I'll take them in. And occasionally I'll pick up on one that I think is offering something new that I hadn't heard before, I hadn't seen before, which is this case. And, which can sort of lead to something else, and build on top of mouse utopia, or what have you. I'd rather stay away from politics as much as possible, because I think there are other things at work here. But hopefully, through watching this, you'll get, I don't know, even when I watched the guy at the beginning of this, it just no longer bothers me. I don't care. In fact, I think he'd make a good movie star. I think he belongs in Hollywood. I just couldn't believe the way he just kept at her. Didn't miss a beat. And to the point, it obviously wasn't bothering her, and it didn't bother me anymore. But it was clearly triggering other people, and it was doing it in the same way that QP talks about. He wasn't allowing those people a chance to release. Like belt the hell out of him. He ran away. Probably not big. He probably was scared as well. But that's his plan. He'll go there, wind somebody up, stir them right up, and then not allow them to release that stress. So anybody you spoke to would have gone home and probably drowned themselves in a gallon of alcohol, because they couldn't handle the stress levels. And that's what narcs do to you, or whatever they are. But that's what they do. They set it up so that you can't unwind your stress. They hit at your emotions, and then you go home and you get angry. And if you can learn how to deal with that, you're going to be better off. I guarantee you'll be better off. You know, you might still be a little bit down and whatever, but at least you won't be angry and wasting your time in anger. Anyway, it's been good talking to you, and I will talk to you again soon.